Now we're going to talk about the 3 things that we must do to succeed at anything. Okay, so I really want us to get around the idea that what I'm going to be presenting to you can sound like they're mostly in the masculine on the surface, but you need to infuse each with the feminine, okay? And also, what I will be presenting to you seem like business analogies and business like frameworks, but they are so applicable to our lives. Basically, success leaves clues. So to succeed at anything, whatever your goal is, you need to have these 3 elements. And the 3 elements, I'm gonna go into what the masculine role of that is and what the feminine role of that is. This is really, really powerful because when we take a business perspective, like for example, if you have a business degree, like I studied business at university, I have a couple business degrees, it will give you a lot of strategies and tactics and all of that. And so what that conditions us to do is to be all in the doing, right? Very masculine. Masculine is doing, force, structure. Feminine is being, flow, like no structure, right? So it's very, it sounds sometimes like they're counterintuitive, or that they're like oxymorons and they like shouldn't go, or they're dichotomous and they shouldn't go together. But that is the nature of life, whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's spirituality. This is how life is. You have to work within the duality of things. So let's get started. All right, number 1 thing that you must do to succeed at anything, you must have a vision. You must have a vision. Okay, so in business, like I don't know any business that doesn't have a vision and doesn't get really, really clear about what that vision is. And then from that vision, we break down and we do like a strategic plan. And from the strategic plan, we do like mini plans from that. And then we have all of our strategies within there, and we've got our targets, we have our KPIs and all of that, right? Okay, very masculine. But we need to have a vision. Why? So from the masculine perspective, well, first of all, let me explain to you why we need to have a vision, okay? Because there's 3 key reasons. 1, when you have a vision that you're working towards, it drives new behavior. If it's inspiring enough, if you're connected to it enough, it will drive new behavior. Therefore, it creates a future rather than repeating the past. Like if I don't have something new to work towards, then doesn't it just make sense that I keep doing what I'm doing, and therefore I'm just gonna keep recreating my current state? And the last thing is it helps you to get out of your comfort zone. Like visions are supposed to be inspiring. They're supposed to be like, well, in business, sometimes we even look at vision statements as something that's like, whoa, if we could achieve that, that'd be like freaking awesome. There's almost like a level of disbelief. Like it's supposed to be big. It's not supposed to be super, super achievable. Like that's the whole idea of it. So let's get into the masculine and feminine roles. So we need a vision because it gives us something new to work towards. So let's start with the masculine. The masculine part of visioning is the target. I want that. That target, that's masculine energy. Again, men and women have both energies. You need both energies in an intimate relationship. You need both energies in running a business. You need both energies to raising a child, right? So when I say feminine and masculine, don't assume that because I'm a man, I need to be in the masculine, because I'm a woman, I need to be in the feminine. No. Listen to your internal guidance of what you need in that moment. Okay, so the masculine is the target. I need that. That motivates. Masculine energy is the target part. The other thing is it gives you structure. So remember how I was talking about you have the vision and then you go down and you write the strategy and you write goals and all of that. It's very structured. That's very masculine, right? It gives you a framework, masculine. So let's talk about when you're writing your vision. So when you're writing your vision, now again, whether it's your vision, like a life vision, I think you should have a vision for every important area of your life. Anything that you actually care about, you should have a vision towards, because if you don't, you're not working towards a vision. You just like have non-focused energy flowing about, non-directional energy, and then like obviously you're gonna get to where you're going, which is nowhere. So definitely write a vision for any area of your life. So if you're doing it for your business, even if you are a parent, this is like the most freaking important role, even in a relationship. I shouldn't say even in a relationship, in your primary intimate relationship, in your relationship with your families. Your vision is, who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? If you can't define that, then how do you know that you are being the best, the highest version of yourself in that role that you can be? You don't know. So you need to have a vision. So what does that vision look like? So from a masculine perspective, you write your vision, like an overarching vision. Like I want to be, for example, I will use my parenting one for now. Like I want to be a conscious parent who is present, not always available necessarily because I have other commitments and I have other roles in my life, but I'm present, right? And who is ever evolving. So whatever your vision is, it doesn't like have to be super long, it can be one sentence, whatever. But then we want to get specific around it, okay? So I would just recommend you use the SMART goals. So make sure it's specific, like what are you actually trying to achieve? Make sure it's measurable, like how are you gonna measure it? Like even with family stuff, you can definitely measure it. I know couples that actually do check in with each other and they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you in this relationship this week? On a scale of 1 to 10, how connected do you feel with me this week? Things like that. Achievable. Okay, so it also needs to be achievable. Your goals, your broken down goals to the vision needs to be achievable. So, you know, I use the family one. Okay, yeah, for example, like if I'm a full-time working mom, like probably one of my goals shouldn't be to, you know, spend every single day with my daughter. That is not achievable. It's just not going to happen. And relevant. So obviously all the goals need to be relevant to that higher vision, and that's pretty obvious. And then have a time frame around it as well. So some people have like a 1 year like vision, some people have a 10-year vision, whatever feels right to you. Okay, so we need a vision. So we're gonna take the masculine perspective first. We want a target and we want structure, right? We want something to work towards. So the feminine side of vision is also very, very important. And men, just as much as women, need to tap into their vision from the feminine perspective. And the first way you do that is you bring your emotion into it. Because if you reflect back on the worksheets on the differences of the feminine and masculine, you know, the masculine very much communicates using words, whereas like the feminine is very much more connected to emotion, right? And the reason we need to connect the emotion to it is because and we know this, right? Is that emotion is going to give you that motivation. It's going to keep you connected to that vision, right? That's why, you know, Simon Sinek's like the power of why, start with why. Okay, the why you do anything, the why you do stuff is always emotion based. If it doesn't have emotion to it, you're not going to give a fuck about it and you're going to lose motivation 100%. You need to know why. Your why is always something deep. Your why is always connected to emotion, and that's where the feminine energy comes in. And it's very, very powerful. And we need to do this because we need to tie in the emotion, because without the emotion, like, okay, so we know emotion is energy in motion. That's how we powerfully manifest. You want to speed something up, good or bad, tie emotion to it. Emotion. Second, feminine aspect of visioning is the ability to pivot, right? So let's say I have a vision for my business, and can't even think of one now. But let's say I have a vision for my business. Okay, to impact 10 million lives. I think that was the vision we had in terms of lives impacted. Okay, so that's the vision. What I would suggest is you hold on loosely. So you have that desire, it's kind of like a law of detachment. You have that desire, and you're working towards that. But if for some reason, some profound reason, again, you need to be tapped in and tuned in to know, to be able to ascertain whether it's ego, fear, or whether you actually need to pivot, but is to not be so attached to that you don't allow yourself to pivot, that you are being called maybe for something greater, that something else is supposed to happen, that you allow yourself to pivot. That is the feminine coming into it. The masculine, if you're purely into the masculine, then the masculine is like, no, I have this effing target. I have to hit this target. I'm a failure. I cannot divert from this target. I have a perfect example. I'm gonna use my personal example. Okay, so I had a target of submitting my PhD, and this was a target, and I was very in my masculine. I'm only now like embracing more of my feminine. So I had, it was very structured. I had the target. I was very married to it. I had no room for pivoting. No room for pivoting. But the thing is, sometimes when you are being called to do something else, when your inner self, and there's a higher calling for you to do something else, and you are so married to that specific thing that you set out to achieve, you create so much resistance and tension. You are not allowing the process of life, the flow of life. You are not following your intuition. I had lots of intuitive feelings and indications and indicators and sensations that this wasn't like there, it was not completely in alignment with what I needed to be doing right now, but I ignored them because I was so committed to my target, and I created more stress than I needed to. I didn't need to create that level of stress in my life. And by the way, the ends never justifies the means. The end never justifies the means. Meaning, if you have this like incredible goal that you want to achieve, but your path to it is toxic and it's painful for you, and you're hurting those around you, then that is your set vibration. If you think that achieving that goal is all of a sudden gonna make your vibration different, you are wrong, because you've had all that time of that conditioned vibration of tension, of stress, of not knowing, of not feeling good enough, of anxiety, whatever it is, all that vibration that you're carrying, and the means to get to that end, that whole vibration, you're carrying it has now become your predominant vibration. When you achieve that thing, I'm so sorry, my loves, but you will not feel anything except those conditioned responses that you have been doing for so long. Does that make sense? Be willing to pivot. Be willing to pivot. And know that a pivot doesn't mean failure, right? One of the favorite things I like to say is like, it's this or something better. It's this or something better. But do not ignore your intuition that's telling you that something is not right for you just because you wrote it down in your journal. You're fucking committed to it. Don't do that, right? So let's wrap this up with the visioning, okay? So regardless of whatever it is we want to achieve, whether it's we want to run a marathon, or whether we want to have like an awakened family, or whether we want to have an incredible business, whether we want to attract the partner of our dreams, whatever your goal is, you must have a vision. You must have a vision. Your vision needs to have 4 elements: 2 masculine, 2 feminine. It needs to work as a target towards you, and you honor it as a target. It needs to be structured. You need to have some structure around your vision. It needs to be emotionally driven. You need to be connected to that vision. And you need to be able to hold on to it loosely. You need to be able to pivot. The law of detachment. When you hold on to something like this, right? Because you really wanted to get $10, and someone has put the $10 in your hand, and now you're like, yes, I'm gonna have the $10. I'm never letting go. This is my dream to have the $10. I have to have this $10. When your hand is closed and God is trying to give you $1 million, but you're like, no, I have my heart set on the 10. I have my heart set on the 10. Does that make sense? Anyway. So I would encourage you to write your vision for the different areas of your life, or if you want, you could focus on one specific goal or one specific area, and just be conscious of using both the masculine and the feminine energies within you at times when it will serve you best. And no one can tell you when that is. You know. You will feel it. You just need to be conscious enough and aware enough and open enough to receive it.